Hello and welcome to the penultimate episode of Popculuture Nerdvana Season 1. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. I'm your host Jay and I'm joined as always by my amazing wife Kay.
What do you want?
You to continue doing the series because we need some sex appeal and it's not coming from me, so you'll do.
Can't even see us.
Yeah, the voice is enough. In today's episode, we shall be looking at the legend of Ruby Sunday. And before we get into this proper, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, anything for me to get more viewers so I can quit my job. So yeah, without further ado, here's our thoughts on the legend of Ruby Sunday. Good.
Really good. I was sitting on the edge of my seat for quite a lot of it, which I wasn't expecting. I know that a lot of theories were out there as to Sutek being the spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers by the way. Sutek's in this. Being
the big villain, but even so, I thought there was enough suspense throughout the.
Yeah, he threw in quite a lot of red herrings, and like I said, it was quite good at the beginning when he was like, S Triad, that's an anagram for TARDIS. And everyone's just like, yeah, we know. That's blatantly obvious, And they're like, oh, it could be Susan. And it's like, yeah, it could. It's almost like Russell knew what the fans would be thinking and how we'd be overanalyzing everything. So it's almost like a little cheeky wink to us being like, you think it's this? It's not. It's Sutek, which...
It's another anagram.
Yeah, it's another anagram. It's just not the one you were thinking of, except for... half of the fan base did. But besides that, it was intense. We've kind of skipped over like 35 minutes of the episode and just talked about the ending, really.
We'll go from the beginning now.
We'll go from...
First thing that I would say, just to hit us off, although I understand why it was called The Legend of Ruby Sunday, it kind of felt like that was... again, kind of a red herring. They didn't know what else to call it without stating the obvious. And because really, I know it involves her mother, but we still didn't find out what the legend is.
Yeah, we didn't know anything about it, I mean, it's called Legend of Ruby Sunday because that's what they call the VHS, but you think there's going to be something more, Yeah. And we did see those really cool scenes with her mother, which again, we're skipping 25 minutes of the episode now. But yeah, it almost seemed like, again, a red herring that they were pushing us towards finding out more about Ruby when really we're back to where we started. We know just the same amount of stuff.
Exactly,
really,
it felt strange.
So actually begin, let's do this, in order, chronologically, and let's not go wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey. Doctor First coming in, giving everyone hugs and fist bumps and stuff. I really like that. I know your HR brain didn't like that. It's not
I
professional.
just feel like it's a military complex and... yeah, there should be... I'm not saying that the big characters should be, but people who he's never met, yes, they can be excited, but I think that they should be like, oh, but it's the Doctor, maybe I should try show off a little bit, I don't know.
Be more professional.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this is the same military organisation that's a 13-year-old child genius.
Yes.
Replace one of their main 15. Scientific advisors. No, he's 15 in real life, he's 13 in this. Yeah. I mean, it's good because they can still, pay him under minimum wage, really. So... that fake laugh. Cheers.
No, it was funny.
That was actually funny, was it? Tell your face laugh. But yeah, speaking of Lenny Rush, when I first watched it after a few sherbets, I wasn't a big fan of his acting. However, on a second watch through, he was actually a lot better than I thought.
Again, I think when we look at his acting the first time round, I think we're obviously comparing him to Ruth Medley because he's
pretty much Ruth Medley's
let's
character.
face it, she was probably meant to be there. It feels like literally he is sat at her desk.
Yeah.
That is her desk. He sat there. It feels like she was meant to be there. She wasn't, probably because she's filming something else. So they had to get a character in quick to fill in her lines.
Yeah.
Good character, nonetheless. I thought his acting was good, and especially being a 15-year-old, it's nice to see him getting that opportunity. But I did kind of just feel
But he's no Ruth Medley. He doesn't have the same level of charm yet, does he, really? But, not really bad. I hope he does more stuff. One of the things I thought was a bit strange, and again, this is something that seems to be recurring a lot in this season, It's of how much Ruby does or does not know about the Doctor. Like she says to him, "Doctor, how can't you recognize, your granddaughter?" And then the Doctor explains to her regeneration. Now, I get that's probably been done to make the audience understand, but we kind of already saw that with Rogue. It just seems like surely they've been traveling for at least over 6 months. There's been all these other adventures we haven't seen when he's showing them pictures of
I
Susan.
disagree. I mean, if you look at, for example, Eccleston and Rose, he never told her because until it comes up, it seems like it's not something the Doctor necessarily wants to share with people because obviously it's upsetting for them because yes, it's still him, but it's not him at the same time, and it's difficult to cover. And I think almost in the Doctor's head, he's had this conversation how many times? He probably
It's kind of old hat for him, yeah. I guess, but I still feel like maybe you have a good point actually. Like Eccleston didn't tell him until right at the end. But were they traveling as long, him and Rose? Like, were they traveling for like 6 months or so or longer? Like, I feel like she should have known about this earlier. Like, it's been over 6 months they've been traveling, because they mentioned that in Devil's Cord. I don't know. Just something I thought was a bit strange. Speaking of Rose, nice transition here. I liked her a lot more in this. I still feel like she didn't have enough to do, really. It felt like out of all the actors there, she seemed the least most superfluous. Is that a word?
Yes, it's a word.
That's a word. Yeah, I felt like she didn't have as much agency in the story. I preferred her in this than in the Star Beast. I thought because she had a bit more to do. Because like the Star Beast, what did she do? Pretty much nothing until the end when they did the whole like spraying thing, trial of the TARDIS jazz. But yeah, I hope that we see more because I feel like the actress can do more, but she's not really being given the right script for it. So hopefully we'll see more of her. Mel, always great to see Mel.
Yeah, great.
She's actually had more to do now than she did in her entire classic era. Right?
Yeah, I did feel like, apart from, as you said, Rose, I felt like all the characters had a reason to be there this time round. I don't think that any of the actors were wasted, including, your side characters like Ibrahim or I can't remember the name of the one who died.
Oh, the one from Manchester, the monk one. Yeah. R.I.P. Spoiler, by the way. Probably should mention that.
But I thought even they had enough words and enough time on screen that they actually stood out for me.
Yeah, I mean, that brings me back to the point. This episode felt rather dense. Like, when I watched it the first time, I was exhausted afterwards, but because it was 1 o'clock in the morning, I was off my face. On drink, not drugs. Let's just get that clear. And then I watched it again, and I still felt kind of exhausted afterwards because for 45 minutes, they pack a lot in. There's a lot of changes in location. There's a lot of meeting new characters. There's a lot of explanation. It's quite a dense, heavy episode. I mean, even managed to get Mrs. Flood in there, who, again, great scene. Still don't have a bloody clue what she's on about.
No, I'm excited for that. Yeah, it's because she was such a kind of bubbly, oh hello love kind of person. To then have her be like, I'm not getting you nothing. It was like
it's exactly like that. But I know what you mean.
Really good.
Yeah, I didn't like it. It made me feel really uncomfortable. And I think it's because obviously, Cherry Sunday is such a bae, but also she's like helpless. Like, Mrs. Flood could, like, smother her if she wanted to. I don't want her to, but she could. Like, what's Cherry Sunday going to do, So, yeah, I found that really intense. And I think, like we said, the whole episode felt really intense. It was a really good... The tension built up, and they sustained it for a good... God, the last 15 minutes of that. Yeah. Again, jumping ahead, but when they do all that stuff in the time mirror, seeing Ruby's mother, I was terrified of the mother. I thought it was going to be some kind of jump scare was going to come out. And I remember we sat there next to each other like, oh, I don't like this. I really don't like where this is going. And it's so alien but in more of like a cosmic horror sense. Like the fact that these events have happened in the past, but they seem to be have an effect in the present as well, and that kind of stuff I don't find really freaky. It's that kind of the past of the past. It can't hurt you unless you let it. That's deep, actually. But like the past is affecting them, and it even made me afraid of the TARDIS.
Yeah, It's interesting, isn't it, being afraid of the TARDIS? Considering I think that was something that, again, just such a good concept that they could do more with. Because obviously we've grown up trusting and
that's your
loving
safe
the
space.
TARDIS.
Yeah,
That is meant to be the safe space. That's the thing that protects the Doctor,
And then just them standing there, like the sort of shots of them looking at the TARDIS, and like the color that they have on it, like it looks darker, and it just looks. I never thought I could be afraid of a blue box, but yep, they managed to do it. What else? I like the Doctor's reactions in this one because he didn't cry for a change, which makes a difference, really. And also when he goes to meet Susan Twist and he punches the wall. I think that is we are getting a more emotional Doctor in this era, and that can usually go either way on me. But I really liked his reaction there, his anger at letting we'll call him Mr. Manchester, the unit of. I should remember his name. He died, R.I.P. His anger that he felt it was his fault, and him just trying to work out who this person was.
Going back to acting facial expressions, I thought that and I've completely blanked for a moment. Brigadier's daughter, Kate,
there we are.
I thought that Kate's reaction there, especially considering we'd had her be like, oh, I think you bring hope or whatever it was, to then have one of her men die, the face that she gives the Doctor is like, what was I saying earlier? I regret it.
And you know what? The fact that Kate actually knows like the members of staff by name, I think that shows that says a lot about the character, that she knows probably each one of these men by name, so it hits her as well. But that point where we're bringing hope, I like that they explained why the Doctor never goes back to see Susan, even though I feel like as fans,
I don't necessarily think it was a strong explanation.
I think it makes complete sense.
I think it makes sense, but I think it's for me, I feel like it was kind of just like, really? Like, after everything you've been through, after how many people you put in danger, the one person you won't see is your granddaughter?
Yeah. To be fair, you can grab some random 19-year-old from London and put her in danger, but not if it's my own kid or grandkid.
Which, I mean, yeah, fair, but...
Yeah, I never thought of it that way.
It just seems odd, and especially knowing Susan, I feel like if Susan had that explanation, she'd be like, are you effing kidding me? I'll slap you in the face. Heh, grandfather.
Grandfather who now looks younger than me. The life of a time traveller. Carla, Ruby's mum, she's
nice
great.
To see her loving Ruby in an episode.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because the first time we see her, the timeline goes messed up and she becomes a bitch, and then 73 yards, she's a bitch again. Oh, no, yeah.
She's a fantastic actress and
great
she's
character.
A very good character, yeah.
And when they were in the time window and she was like reacting to Ruby being placed, on the church on Ruby Road, I thought it was very real, and Russell can write really good domestic drama. And I think that's where that shined in that scene when she was looking at the...
Yeah, I liked seeing her almost put her own feelings into the mother's... Considering we're there watching that mother and going...
She's laughing.
She's laughing, she's dangerous, like whatever she is, she's evil.
Yeah.
And then she's going, oh, she's crying because she's letting her daughter go. And you can tell that she's just putting her own feelings onto it.
Yeah. Projecting.
Projecting, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
I still think we're right about that, though. I think that's going to come back. Like, we're going to see that scene again, and it's going to be times change. She turns around, it's going to be her smiling or laughing about it.
Yeah, let's destroy Ruby even further.
Yeah, 100%. Because she needs it. She hasn't had it hard in this season. No. And speaking of Carl as well, those moments when Sutek sort of appears, obviously we don't know Sutek yet, and her saying, it's the Beast. And when that guy, the Manchurian guy who's died, they said, "Oh, where are you?" And he's like, "I'm in hell." Oh, I don't like that. It really, really freaked me out. Which part of me made me think it was going to be the Beast from the Impossible Planet, which is kind of half right because it's the same writers. No writers, same actor. Voice actor.
Yes.
Same, well, technically, it is the same writers. It's Russell.
Yeah.
Russell write that one? Yeah, let's say he did. Um, Something I think I didn't appreciate the first time watching it, but the second time, the music I thought was really good. I think Murray Gold's had some
It's
different.
always so yes, I always love Murray Gold's music. Absolutely. The only thing I will say, sometimes it's very similar to music we've heard before.
Yeah,
and there was a moment where I was like, Master.
I think I saw someone online saying that
Yeah.
it sounded very much like the Masters theme.
Still banging, but
Oh, it's still tunes, but I thought it was. I still feel like his music is still a little bit different than his original era. Like I feel like there is a difference, but you're right. And I think that's the thing with not number.
But I don't think that's a Murray Gold thing. I think most composers
Have like a style
have
that
a
they end up
style,
going
exactly.
into. You know, I like the twist with Harriet Arminger, being the Arminger for Sutek.
I wasn't sure about it, in all honesty, because it felt strange to then have Susan, because it
Oh yeah, why wasn't she the?
Yeah, it felt like Susan was the Harbinger, and Sutek was separate from her, using her. So then it kind of, I know that Harriet, because she was in unit, I'm assuming, but it didn't feel like we needed someone in unit other than to just scare the people in unit, which I think the TARDIS was doing already.
Good point. But maybe it's just because I really liked. There was one line which she said, "I was born for this," when talking about they were trying to get the time window, the video working, and the fact that I was born for this. I was like, I didn't notice that the first time, but now that I do, I was like, okay, literally born for.
I think it shows his power.
Yeah, and also her speech at the end, like when the music starts ramping up, and Sutek is speaking through her and through Susan and being like, there are gods of this, there's a trick, the god of tricks. And I actually listened to that again and put some of the subtitles on so I could use some of the other gods that were mentioned.
Oh, yes.
Like there's a god of skin, and there's a god of like damnation and all these other stuff, you know. And he said at the end, and the mother and the father and the other of all those gods is me. Yeah, and it goes by Seth. It goes by. That was really, really good. Even though my one criticism of Sutek, and this might be me misunderstanding the classic era, but from when I watched Pyramids of Mars, I'm sure he was meant to be an alien who was considered a god because of how more advanced he was, rather than a god that existed outside of our universe. But maybe I just need to rewatch Pyramids of Mars.
I mean, it's an excuse to, isn't
It's
it?
an excuse, yeah. To be fair. I think that's really it from me. I think there was a couple more points I wanted to raise. Little Easter egg hunt at the end. I liked. Susan Twist, actually, the actress was really good. She's very likable.
Yes, yeah.
I like the little Theresa May dance type of thing. And you can't tell me that wasn't a parody of Theresa May, because that was brilliant. Very funny. Subtle, which is a bit different for RTD. To be
It's
subtle,
different with
political
political stuff, I feel like. Mainly because it was not necessarily needed. She's not a political figure as much. She feels more like
she's a tech billionaire. She's like Elon Musk.
Yeah,
type,
exactly.
Yeah.
And Elon Musk. That's what I was gonna say.
But
so it was amusing to see it without it having that direct reference.
Yeah,
I think.
And I feel like that's probably gone over some people's heads as well. You know, maybe the American audience. I don't know. Maybe they probably wouldn't know, would they? They know Theresa May, but probably don't know the infamous dance.
I don't know really.
Yeah, we'll find out. Yeah, who cares? That was good, and also obviously you've got the references and callbacks, like the time window. That's a callback to the Third Doctor era. Talking about the brig, obviously big one there. But also one of the guards was called Sullivan, a female guard. So in my head canon, that's Harry Sullivan's probably be granddaughter, I think. Supposed to do the timelines. Could be daughter. He could still be playing away at his age, but you never know. Well, he's dead, but you know, the character could still be alive. Um, yeah. So, what do you think our score is out of 10 for this one? Even though we pretty much change it every week.
Yeah, I know. I said I wouldn't give scores last week, so I think I'm gonna stick to that for now, and then I'm gonna review at the end.
Okay, maybe look like shit in front of all 16 of our subscribers. Um, Go on, I'll do it. I'll give it an 8 since I seem to give everything an 8 this season. These I will change it when we go back to it. Um, any final thoughts, final predictions of what we think is going to happen next week? A lot of crazy shit.
Chaos. Death.
An empire of death.
One thing I will say, what I have really enjoyed about this season is how there's actually loads of death. I know that's such a weird thing to say, but I think considering... Usually, obviously, this is a children's show. Usually, people kind of skirt around the death issue.
Now they don't give a damn.
This series has been like, I'm
Everyone's
pretty
getting
sure
murked.
almost every single episode, apart from maybe Space Babies, someone's pretty much...
Do you want to see the space babies get killed?
Yes. No.
Yeah.
Someone's pretty much died, and I think that it's really brought weight to what
we're watching. There are consequences. Okay, cool. Well, I honestly haven't got any predictions, except I feel like the Doctor might end up saving the day, I think.
What? No, it'll be someone else. It'll be Ruby.
I think at the end, we will find out who Mrs. Flood is, but that's going to almost lead into the second season. Like, she's going to be unrelated to Sutek. It's going to be something at the end, like a post-credit scene or right towards the end, where it's going to be like, hello, I'm the Rani, or some rubbish like that. Sorry.
So you definitely think she's evil?
She's not good, because no one can be... I'm telling you, right? She can't be good for the very simple reason that she is mean to Cherry Sunday. And you'd have to be pure evil to hate Cherry Sunday, because she's lovely.
Do you want me to find Cherry and bring her to you?
No. She'll ask me for cups of tea and I can't make tea. Yep, that's it then, I guess. We will see you back here next week when we're seeing, Legend of Ruby Sunday again and Empire of Death in the cinemas.
We are going to the cinemas. We are very excited.
And they'll hopefully review the cinema experience. A bunch of Doctor Who fans. That's going to be a very sweaty, smelly... I can say this because I am one. Cinema.
He is planning on bringing his notepad to write in the cinema, which I have said no to.
And I will be annoying all my friends by saying, this is a reference.
You'll be annoying everyone in the audience because everyone will be like, shh.
Yeah, we already know.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's it. Thank you guys for listening. As I said, please like, share, subscribe, comment, call me a fascist, call me a cuck, call me anything as long as I get the algorithm working. And we shall see you all next week for Empire of Death. So bye guys, have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.